So on the night of the 15th, a family was home in their family was in their home when their 9-year-old daughter brought to their attention that there was a cell phone placed in her bedroom window. The parents of that girl retrieved the cell phone, and a short time later, the defendant in this case, Christopher Cesaro, came to the house and asked for his phone back. After an investigation, or after a little bit of investigation and talking to people, it was determined that the defendant had placed that phone in the window intentionally.
So he walked onto their property, put a phone on. Was the phone recording? And how did he explain? Did he like sneak it in between the window? Was the window open? Like, just try to get into a little bit of the details as to how he actually got the phone recording her.
So it appears that he had taken the phone from his house. His house is about 15 feet from the victim's house. He can see from his bedroom window the victim's bedroom window. It appears that on this evening he goes over to the neighbor's house, the victim's house, cuts the screen, or the screen was previously cut, I don't know the answer to that, but he places the phone between the window and the screen with the recording device facing into the bedroom and the screen placed off. It in fact was recording.
Now, as someone in your position, this is a little much. How does this? You deal with things like this all the time, but what emotions does this bring up for you in the position that you're in? Like, how does this kind of thing make you feel?
Well, I feel that, it makes you feel like it's difficult to keep your family or the community safe when we're allowed to do these actions and there's really no immediate repercussion, nothing that we can do to immediately keep the community safe in this case. Ultimately, he was taken to a judge and arraigned, but had to be released on his own recognizance.
Now, in terms of these charges that he's facing, what kind of time could he be looking at considering this crime?
So the crime's an E-felony. I can't tell you. I mean, felonies are a year and a year plus. Sentences and things of, punishment is determined by a judge, not by us. So I really can't give you a definitive answer on that.
Now, how long was the cell phone recording this girl for before she found it?
It appears that the cell phone was recording for approximately 1 hour.
Now, did he say why he did it?
The suspect was interviewed, and ultimately he said that he had an attraction to the girl.
So is he a stranger, or did he have any relation to this family?
Other than being a neighbor, no relation.
But she's 9 years old?
She's 9.
And he's 25, and he said he had an attraction to a 9-year-old girl and wanted to film her.
In sum and substance, yes.
Did he have a criminal history prior to any of this, or no?
No criminal history.
Now, what is your advice to parents? This is a very scary thing for mothers and fathers. Do you have any advice? I know you said this is kind of a tricky thing to avoid with all the technology now, but what advice would you give parents watching this?
Again, it's to be diligent and observant. The daughter saw the cell phone. She brought it to the parents' attention. The parents immediately called the police and allowed us to begin an investigation. I mean, I don't know what steps I could tell you to take to not have a cell phone placed in your window. So other than being, observant and keeping, an eye on your surroundings and what's going on, I really can't give much more advice than that.
Now, what is the next step in the process?
So we have written a search warrant to search the contents of that phone. We'll look into the phone. We'll see if there's any further victims. We'll see what was actually captured on the phone and see if there's any charges, additional charges that we can lodge. But after that, the case would be in the hands of the district attorney's office.
Now, how many peeping Tom-like crimes do we see in Monroe County, particularly maybe this year? Are they on the uptick, or is this something that happens all the time? Can you give us a number?
So I've been assigned in this capacity for probably going on 15 years now. And I'll say that we haven't had a bunch of these kind of cases, but then we had, not too long ago, we had the music teacher, Phil Close, who was doing something very similar, and we've gotten up to 80 plus victims in that case that were covertly surveilled in a bathroom.
Goodness. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Obviously, you can't release the victim of the victim because she's a minor.
Yeah, really, the facts of the case are what they are. Ultimately, we were able to ascertain who placed the phone, at least allegedly, and we're taking steps to prosecute it. The only thing I would say is you know, the fact that we had to release him that night was a little discouraging, you know, for the family, the victim family, and for us.
But, so he walked back to the house and asked for his cell phone back after he tried to spy on a young girl? Is that?
That's correct. And he gave a story that he gave a story that I can't get into the details of, but he gave a story that he had lost his phone.
Anything else? Anybody else have any questions? Emily, anybody?
So we're good. I'm good.
Amy? All right, thank you so much, sir, we appreciate it.